Uh-huh.
But today we're going to get into some more of the what happens when it all breaks down and
Yeah.
how to and maybe getting a little bit into the nuts and bolts of how we maintain and keep things going.
Well,
Because I'll
and it's interesting that you bring that up today as we just, quickly, introduce to anybody, if this is your first time listening, this is our daily chronicle where we just chronicle how it is that we go about our days, balancing kids, having full-time jobs,
mm,
working to build two companies, and ultimately living the best life that we want to live.
living
And
my best life
we're on this journey, and we decided to put it on video for us, for our
to
kids, and hopefully
chronicle
you
it, if
learn
you
from it
will.
to chronicle it. And it's
I'm
funny you bring
Rodney.
that up today, and I'm Keith,
That dude's Keith.
because today
Hmm.
has been a day where stuff just isn't going right from the jump. So it's interesting that you wanted to talk about that today.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel
It
like
started up,
what for
and I'm
this
gonna
week,
have a
it's been
snack.
kind of one of those weeks for us where we didn't
Mm-hmm.
get our weekly planning in at the beginning of the week. We had family coming
Mm-hmm.
in. We had a lot of big activities. So
Mm-hmm.
when you and I were talking about the topic for today, I was like, let's talk about protection mode, and you were like, what is that? And it's not a. I mean, I just kind of came up with it last night when I was thinking about how we ended up getting through the week, and it's really like bare essentials, like bare bones, like what needs to happen. How do we protect each other? Like there was yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, we were prepping to go to Disney, and my wife was like, "All right, we got to go to the grocery store, and we got to do this." And then tonight we've got like this gingerbread building thing with our daughter, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, like grocery store, like let's break it down. Like what needs to happen? Does grocery store need to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like no, what really needs to happen is we need dinner. Can we order dinner? Like what can we do to make dinner easy so that we can get to this thing and make sure we all get food and then we've done that kind of with the schedule in general, and even looking at tonight, like we're supposed to go to this thing, and it's like, you know what, we're tired, we're run down, we got to take care of ourselves, so we're gonna just cancel on that. Hate to be that, it's not really even flaky, I don't think, but don't like canceling on things after I've committed to doing them, but sometimes you just gotta
Yeah.
protection mode it.
No, it's interesting because we've had a similar week, like just a lot of things going on this week,
Hmm.
across the spectrum on priorities, right? And when it comes to work, like each and every day, just what needs to get done.
Hmm.
And yet, yesterday was a good example. Today's a good example. Yesterday, it was just chaos for me as far as the amount of things in places I needed to be.
Hmm.
And I still had to, I mean, we had an episode to post, we had a newsletter to get out.
I
I
was out,
needed to,
like you
you
didn't
were
even
out.
have
I
access to me.
needed, there were some things that were on the Trello board, like building the business plan. Well, not the business plan, our pitch deck, or we've got this marketing thing that we're trying to work on. And all of a sudden it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm still running some things, right? And so this morning started, and um, my baby decided that she wanted to be awake for an hour and a half last night. And of course I made that brilliant decision. Like I was up trying to catch up on some stuff that needed to get done that I wasn't able to get done during the day. And I stayed up until 11 because I needed my break moment. And I'm watching Star Wars like you are. And it's all of a sudden it's this, okay, I think if I stay up until 11 everything will be fine. And then of course she wakes up, so then I missed my workout this morning. So now I've got to overlap my workout with calls, so that had to happen this morning. And and there were just like a couple of moments this morning. This is a side note, we could talk about it, where I ended up having some time with my daughter, and then I had a conversation with somebody else that went longer than I expected. And it cut into the flow of, these are all the things that need to get done. And so you talk about protection mode. And I had this thought this morning as well. It's like sometimes it just has to be okay that other things suddenly are a priority over the things you thought were a priority. right?
Mhm.
Like connection
Yeah,
with
that's definitely
people,
part of it.
right?
That's definitely part of it.
Connection with people is a big deal.
Mhm.
And you don't get that opportunity every day. And I got, an opportunity with my daughter this morning that I just didn't want to pass up. And I said, forget it. I'll miss this thing. And I'll
Mhm.
do it another time or later. Then I
Mhm.
got in this conversation with a coworker, and it was an awesome conversation. I'm like, I'm going to miss doing something else, but I'm going to take this opportunity here to do that because that's not pressing. And like you said, that prioritization on the fly that sometimes needs to happen and change and shift to make sure that the top things that get done, but that flexibility happens so that you feel at peace for the
Mhm.
day and you're not hitting the end of the day going, I've got 1,000 other things to do, and your mind is somewhere else than where it needs to
Yeah.
be.
And I'll say,
That was a long
just
little diatribe there,
it was a
wasn't it?
long
I
diatribe,
think, yeah.
long diatribe.
Yeah, that's the most
But
I've talked on one of these in a while.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll just add, I think the key thing for me during this mode is communication. Like
Yeah.
with my coworkers, with
Yeah.
you, with my wife,
Yeah.
like, and it's something I've historically been pretty bad at because like typically when I go into this mode, I would just shut down. Like I would cut things down off,
Mm-hmm.
but I would just stop
Mm-hmm.
and just like, all right, I'll get to that when I get to it. I'm not communicating, which
Mm-hmm.
is not effective and probably and not. I'm not at all suggesting you do that. I think that um, like I know that my wife and I like we stay in we're obviously always in communication, but like we're texting a lot more frequently just to check in and like make sure the one or two things that we're like, all right, this has to get done. Like, how can I help you with this? How can I do this? Do I need to cancel this? Do I need to move this? Has been really helpful
I
for
was,
sticking to it to me. You were what?
yeah. There are two things that come to mind as you say that.
Hmm.
As these things break down, and there are two things that have been said to me. One you said to me, I think 2 years ago, and one of my mentors that I had lunch with yesterday, said to me, or no, it wasn't him, it was somebody else. I can't remember who said it, but
Yeah.
the thing you said to me a couple of years ago is you read a book about this idea or a quote or something, an article that you're never I'm behind. Nope, you're never behind.
Oh
You're just
yeah.
on to the next thing, right? Like that mentality. It's such a hard mentality. It's like, oh, I'm behind because then all you're trying to do is catch up versus do the best thing of what you can do in that moment, right? So like that's
Which
something
is
that
really like a thing of like presence.
it
Because if
really
you're
is.
worried about looking back or looking for like only thing you can do is the thing you can do right now. So it helps cut out the anxiety in that moment when it's like, oh crap, I'm so like I missed so many things. It's like no,
Yeah.
like what can I do proactively to take care of that right
And
now
the
in this moment?
and the other thing is work's always going to be there.
Yeah, true.
Like you come back from a vacation, you're going to be piled up because it's always going to be there. No
Hmm.
matter what, whether you catch up, whether you're ahead, you're always going to ebb and flow. You're always going to be behind. You're always going to be. So again, it comes down to that very fundamental principle of like what you have right now, even if you have more things to do, if this thing is important to you, do it, focus on it, and then get to the next thing that you can do next.
Mm.
And if you don't get to everything in the day, so long as you got to the things that you have flagged most importantly that need to get done today, like post an episode and get a newsletter out and get my prospecting done and update my pipeline, like, hey, the other stuff, it will happen. Just don't procrastinate it
Not
too
only
long,
can
right?
it wait, it will wait.
It
Like it's
has to
just the
wait
nature of
because
it. Like it
it'll still be there.
yeah, it's not going
So
anywhere. I guess the question today would be how do you deal with like we've
okay.
talked about things breaking down, but like within that, like, what are the actual things, some of the actual things you do
Yeah. Like,
to
what's one thing?
yeah,
Two things?
what's one
12
thing you
things?
do? You
Yeah.
just cancel every meeting on your calendar and start from scratch. Sounds like not that I'm
Do you
saying that
just
sounds
do
like
you
a
just
great
go on
idea.
vacation? I'm just gonna go on vacation today.
Just fire
Yeah.
sale, canceling them all.
Yeah. That's good.
Peace out.
All right. Well, we're out.